You are watching Business Heroine TV for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. Join the Business Heroine community today at businessheroinemagazine.com. And now, tune into the show.
Hi and welcome. I'm Ann Perry, founder of Business Heroine, and we are in for such a special treat today. We are going to be talking about the very fun conversation of money. And we have Kate Northrup with us today. Kate is a professional freedom seeker and creative entrepreneur. She created financial freedom for herself at the young age of 28 through building a team of more than 3,000 wellness entrepreneurs in the network marketing industry. Kate, you may know, is the best-selling author of several books: Money, a Love Story, Untangle Your Financial Woes, and Create the Life You Really Want. Her philosophy is that if you free yourself financially, you can be fully present to your purpose on the planet. And she's really committed to empowering as many people as possible to have the ultimate luxury in life, which is choice. So Kate's work has been featured by the Today Show, Yahoo Finance, Women's Wellness, Glamour, the Huffington Post, Red, and more. Kate has spoken to audiences of thousands with Hay House, Wanderlust, USANA Health Sciences, and more. She continues to mentor entrepreneurs today through her network marketing team, the Freedom Family. So thank you, Kate, so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I cannot wait to jump in and talk about this juicy topic. But first, tell us your personal story. What was life like before financial freedom, and what is different now?
Well, I started a business. I've always been an entrepreneur, always just dabbling in various things. I started my first business when I was a little girl with my sister, when I was 7, actually, and went on to, be the queen babysitter in the neighborhood and the dog walker and all of that. And then I started my first kind of quote-unquote real business when I was 18 in the network marketing industry or direct sales industry with a company called USANA, which is a vitamin company. And I still have that business. It's one of the various things I do. What happened is I built it during my Christmas vacations and my summer vacations. And I had always had this idea that I wanted to create financial freedom by the age of 30 so that I could stay home with my family one day. And not have to find somebody who could take care of me financially so that I could stay home with my family. That just wasn't what I wanted. And so I built this business. When I was 22, I moved to New York City. The business was going well, but New York City is an extremely expensive place to live. And pretty soon, my expenses started outpacing my income. And before I knew it, I was in over $20,000 worth of credit card debt, having never carried a balance on my credit card before. So it shot up really fast. And I felt pretty scared about it. I felt guilty about it, so much shame. And there was just chaos. I just could never seem to, I would pay off a little bit and then it would come back. And then I would decide not to use my credit cards anymore, but then I would be in overdraft in my checking account. And I could never seem to just change. And as much as I tried to keep my spending down, and I just couldn't get it together. And I really spent a lot of time beating myself up for it and also being in the dark, just being in vagueness, not really knowing how much I owed, not knowing what the balances were exactly, because I had all these different credit cards and they were due at different times during the month. So I never really knew the whole truth. And I just managed to pay off a little bit more than I needed to every month. And so I kept my head above water. And one day I was in an airplane and I was writing in my journal, and I was writing about how I really had this genuine desire to get my finances together. And I had a stroke of inspiration where I realized if I were to treat my financial life and taking care of my financial life as self-care, as one of the things that I do as self-care and as an act of self-love, then maybe I would actually do it. Because up until that point, I had used the model of beating myself up, and that wasn't working. And so when I made that shift, pretty soon after that, I saw some dramatic changes in my life, and I was able to begin to get my debt paid off. And I paid it off within a matter of months, almost in one fell swoop, because as I started taking better care of myself and focusing on love as opposed to guilt and shame, my income increased a lot, and I was able to value myself more, and I was adding more value in the world. And so things worked themselves out from that really significant mindset shift.
That is amazing. You know, the conversation around self-care has been so up lately with our community in Business Heroine. And I've never heard it put quite that way, with money and managing your finances being a form of self-care, just like getting a massage or making sure you take a walk and getting in nature. That's so fascinating.
Yeah, it is. You know, money is a daily part of our lives. None of us, even if you think somebody else is handling it for you, you do have to deal with money. It's going to be part of your life every day. And so incorporating it into the things that we do to take care of ourselves makes it less scary, I think.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And how did you infuse love into that duty of taking care of your money? Did your actions change, or did you just kind of change the energy that you put into it?
Both, definitely both. So the results that we get out of doing anything will be dependent on the energy with which we do the thing. You know, if you walk your dog and you're pissed off about it, it's not going to be fun, and your dog's going to be annoyed too, and he'll probably pee on you or something. I don't know how
Bite the mailman. Yeah.
Yeah, but something, right? If you drive your kids around because you feel obligated versus you feel like it's a great opportunity to spend time with them, your relationship is going to be really different. And so what I did is I changed the whole energy around it, but I did some practical things to change my energy. So one is I would start doing things like having a playlist of music that I would play while doing my finances. And right now I'm prepping for taxes. And so I was doing some mileage stuff earlier, and I put on my music and I lit a candle, and I still do these things to make it fun because I had to retrain myself. And I would imagine most people do. There aren't that many people who think paying bills and going through your receipts is super awesome. I don't think. Right. So I had to add in these elements like a little dark chocolate or some great music or sparkling water in a wine glass with a lemon, or putting on my favorite shoes, or like you, wearing beautiful red lipstick. I will wear like my cutest underwear when I go have financial meetings. I do things like that because it makes it more fun.
That is awesome.
Yeah, doing things like that really helped, so that I began to associate financial care with fun and with feeling good. And then money became about feeling good as opposed to about shame or doubt or fear.
Yeah, I love that. And one of your slogans is trust fun, feel good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's kind of like creating an element of fun while you're working with your money, and then celebrating the money when it comes in, and sending it out with love where it needs to go. And
absolutely. And it really is, to me, financial awareness is also a spiritual practice. Mike and I, my fiance, and he's also my business partner, will set financial goals and for a launch or for whatever, or any goals in our business, and we'll light a candle and we'll do a meditation around it. And we do things like that because money is really, it's an energetic substance. Especially when you're in business, there's so much about your energy that affects how much comes in and how many customers you're attracting. It's a little different if you have a job. But again, your energy is really going to impact if you're getting a raise, commissions, things like that. So either way, it's so important to clean up our energy around money and not have doubt or, not speak negatively about those who have money, things like that.
Yeah. I was speaking with a friend the other week who is really kind of done with the work she's doing. And she's like, I make a lot of money, but ever since I've just been kind of done with that work, the money seems to fly out of my life, because it's like she's not energetically connected to what she's doing anymore too. So I thought that was really interesting. It's just like bringing love to what you're doing, and I love it. I'm going to totally light a candle next time I do my bookkeeping.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, so there's the saying, hindsight is 20/20. If you could go back now that you see so much clearly, if you could go back and visit yourself years ago, maybe before you had your airplane insight aha moment, which I don't know what it is about airplanes, but I always have insights on airplanes.
Well, I actually learned, a friend of mine is a rocket scientist, literally, at NASA, and he's in training to be an astronaut, and he said that the ions at that high altitude are actually different, and they activate different areas of our brain that do not get activated on land.
Isn't
that interesting?
Amazing. That explains a lot. I seriously, I'm like, when I go on airplanes, I feel like I'm just this like wiser person. It's really weird.
Totally.
So knowing that hindsight is 20/20, what would you go back and tell yourself if you could like wake yourself up earlier and say like, hey, this is what's up? What wisdom would you impart upon yourself?
Well, if I could do that, I would. I have to say I'm pretty good with the timing of how it all happened, because I know that there are just certain lessons that we can't learn unless we go through it.
Yeah.
So if I had read this in a book or something, which by the way I did, it just didn't stick. So anyway, but if I were to go back, I would say that to end, I would ask myself to stop beating myself up and just make a bold change and not be afraid to, because one of the pieces that was really important in my story is that I was in business partnership with my mom, and that was starting to feel really squelching. And I spent a long time being afraid to hurt her and staying longer than perhaps I would have. So I think the message would be that my truth heals people, that it doesn't hurt people. And that's still a lesson that I'm learning in life is how to have the truth be more forthcoming and not being so afraid of hurting people's feelings.
That is powerful. And I really appreciate what you said about timing too, because it's like that is actually one of the hindsight things too, is going, you know what, those hard times actually were super necessary, and you wouldn't experience what you're experiencing now in such a magical way if it weren't for those lessons coming when they need to come. So I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, your truth being so important, and empowering others and serving others and not hurting others. That is a really powerful lesson as well.
And also telling ourselves the truth. I mean, I think another thing is I was living under a lot of layers, pretending things were happening that weren't. So wanting to look a certain way, wanting to seem like I was further ahead than I was, taking different courses and seminars because I thought that underneath somewhere I was fundamentally flawed and that somebody else would have the piece of information that I needed. So actually a lot of my debt was in personal growth seminars, which the irony of that is not lost on me, but because I am now part of that industry. But you know, really, I guess a message for everybody, for myself at 22, and then just for everybody, is you are whole and complete and lacking in nothing.
I love it. So, all right. So in the spirit of March, the month of four-leaf clovers and leprechauns and pots of gold at the end of rainbows, what relationship does luck and magic play in money?
So that's a great question. You know, I think we do create our own luck. There are people who you look at and just say, oh, they're so lucky. Like my friend Rochelle is a magical human being. I mean, she will create these experiences where suddenly she'll just be sitting next to the lead singer of the Dixie Chicks on an airplane after like thinking about her all day, or become friends with Bill Murray standing in line like at the grocery store or whatever. She's just like that. And I look at her and I think, wow, she's really a magical person. And sometimes I'll say, and And I'll say, like, okay, that's Rochelle, and she's over there like that, and then I'm me, and I'm over here like me. But if I really look at Rochelle, she has this lightness in her, and she has this sense of innocent wonder and openness where she will literally talk to anybody, and she has no layers of judgment or preconceived notions, and she is walking through life expecting a miracle at any moment. And so her life is full of crazy miracles. You know, like she just decided she was going to get invited to the Grammys, and then she was.
I love it.
So stuff like that. But it's not because she's special. It's because she expects miracles. And so with money, it's the same thing. It's what are we expecting in our daily life? Are we talking about there's never enough? I can't afford that. Rich people are evil. Oh, it's greedy to want money. Oh, money's not important to me. It's not spiritual. You know, these are all the things that come up around money. Or are we saying, I am totally well provided for. I have enough value to offer the world to receive more than enough to take care of my needs and then some. So what are the thoughts you're thinking? What are the conversations you're having? You know, it's one thing to do affirmations, but it's another thing. What are you saying with your girlfriends? Are you talking about and complaining about how expensive things are? Or are you celebrating your abundance and celebrating what's abundant already? So I think lucky people have a lucky mindset.
That is a quote. That's like quotable. I want to tweet that. Yeah, that's awesome. And recognizing too when those little magical moments occur, even if it's like finding a penny on the street and being like, oh my gosh, this penny appeared for me and just for me.
I have a girlfriend who finds money every day, and she takes a picture of it on Instagram and posts it. And it's her tracking of the abundance in the universe. And she takes a photo of it, she celebrates it, and I love watching that.
That's awesome. That's so great. So tell us how our business heroines tuning in can get some more Kate Northrup. What's the best way to go deeper with you and your work?
So you can head over to my website, katenorthrup.com, and when you're there, you can take my free quiz, and it'll tell you what your relationship with money has to say about you, and based on your answers, we'll give you some customized action steps that you can take to create a more loving relationship with money, so you're making more money, you're saving more money, and you're just overall having a better time with it. And then I have lots of free videos there, all kinds of goodies, and then I send out more in my weekly emails.
Awesome. Yeah, we love your energy. Yeah, we're fans. Katie and I are like, oh, we get to interview Kate. We have totally a girl crush. It's fun.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, I know that our time is coming to a close, but what can you leave us with, one action step that we can take starting today to create more financial abundance in our lives?
The action step that I really love that's super simple and doesn't take much time at all, and this is the one I started with right at the beginning when I was in a lot of financial chaos, is checking your bank account balance every single day. I would set an alarm on your calendar or on your phone. Mine happens at 8:30 in the morning. It still happens. I still stick with these practices because, you know, we always will get off track. So keeping on the straight and narrow. And at 8:30, checking, or whatever time works for you, checking your bank account balance and spending just a moment, even 30 seconds, in gratitude for the abundance that you have in your life. And that will begin to rewire you to associate looking at your money and financial care with a good, warm, fuzzy feeling.
That's awesome. That's great. I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to do the candle.
Awesome.
Yes.
Great.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate you spending your time to share your wisdom and fun and money magic with us. Yeah, it was really great to connect with you.
Thanks.
And thank you, everyone, tuning in for joining us, and we will see you next time.
You have been watching Business Heroine TV for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out what's new at businessheroinemagazine.com today.